It's a journey, y'all. It's called The Journey Within. That's what my friend said to me. She said,
Genius.
there's no greater journey than the journey within.
Alrighty, gang, welcome. We're back at it one more time. Welcome to Roots Holistic. This is another episode of the Daily Spread. We're spreading love, we're spreading light. I'm your host, G3E, doing the most. Yeah, man, we're in our impact season, and all we want to know is what is it that's gonna, make the most impact? How is it that we can ultimately do our very best? Evolution, for the revolution, like, you know what I mean? I just saw the number 34 on the timer there. So let's do the most. I was there to bring this deck out today, Work Your Light. And I think that's, very apt for this time where, actually, let me just check. Are we good over here? Yeah, we are. Okay. So it's like, I'm thinking about like, if we are in the impact season, we need to know how to work our light, right? We need to know what it is that, Spirit wants us to know so that we can show up as our best selves. And, we've all got like a light within us. And it's about how do we turn that on? How do we activate, how do we switch that light on? And not only do we want to shed light for other people, but we want to, use this light for ourselves. It's like you got to fill your own cup before, you fill the cups of those around you. Ever unfolding rose cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. But before we begin, I just want to thank angels, guardians, ancestors. Thank you for being here with us. Please protect this reading, bless this reading. And we in the highest vibration of love. That's where we dwell. May this reading be swell. Thank you, angels, guardians, ascended masters, higher beings and forces wishing us well. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. So please let us know, Spirit. I'm trying to get like a message for the collective. What is it that's gonna bring about the most impact right now? What do we need, or what's the most impactful message? And then I've got my chakra stones laid out over here, and then we can like maybe just see how that impact can be brought in from like the different chakras, the different levels, different stages, if you want to look at it like that, because we are in Earth School, of course, right? So Spirit, thank you so much. Let's see what you got for us. All right, cool. And I'll leave this card in the background over here just for us to look at as well. But let's see. So we have Mintaken, longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. Wow. It's interesting that like I was just saying that we're in school and there's stages and there's this big sea over here, I think there's something about like a vast expanse, a realization that, we are here to like be on this earth to do wonderful and amazing things, but then it's not our home. What's that saying, like on this earth but not of this earth? That's what's coming through right now. I think if I recall correctly, the Mintakans are one of those ancient civilizations that have lived before, like Palladians, what's those people who live like underneath the ocean, Antarcticans, Atlanteans. You know what I mean? It's like it's that type of a thing. It's like it's their own vibe, it's their own tribe. And I mean, with this saying, longing for home, and I think it's an awareness that, we are here for a mission. There's something that we came to do, and that is to, spread light, to be a light worker. So it's a matter of saying like, we all manifested here, chose these vessels, chose these bodies to fulfill a mission at this time within the greater grand scheme of cosmos, of, how everything came together. And, as I'm even looking at this belonging, I think when we come to Earth, sometimes we are forgetting like what it is that we came here to do, especially based on our upbringing and our circumstances when we're young. But then we find that, over time, we actually end up finding belonging not only in ourselves but in other light workers. I'm even getting something about like the 144,000 right now. So it's a matter of saying that, like, what, you could be stargazing, you could be looking up at the stars just like this mermaid is right now, looking to the stars, where you come from, where you've been, and like remembering that you are here, but it's not your true home. And I'm also just thinking about how this mermaid, it's like a form of a human. It's like you have aspects that are human, and then this has aspects of the water. So it's like you are a mix of some kind. So I don't know what this collective is, but I definitely feel like I'm reading for like high vibe collective right now. So yeah, you might just also be relating to this. I'm also getting a lot of water element, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Yeah, but let's see what it is. Let's see what it is. I'm not sure, but there's something also about a hill, a waterfall, being perched up on that as well. But yeah, I definitely think that there's like an outlook, a forward looking ahead, just like she is over there, to greater pastures, to greener pastures. And I'm actually looking at this water kind of looking like blue green as well. So I think maybe there's an acknowledgement of like, in these waters there might have been some turbulence, there might have been some algae, some seaweed, some unfavorable circumstances in the waters. And we know the waters relate to the cups in the tarot. So yeah, let's see what spirit's got for us. Let's cook. As always, we in the kitchen. Hey, what it do, gang? But yeah, let's do the most. So thank you so much for being here with me. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, do those wonderful things at the bottom. At the top, all dichotomies, as above, so below. We're just gonna appreciate, and as we know, what we appreciate appreciates. So yeah, let's do the most. So thank you, guardians, thank you, angels, thank you, spirit. Let's keep going, man. Let's kick booty. Let's tippy tap in. Let's tune in. Okay, you're saying that's the first one. Okay, cool. So we got something for our roots already, but I feel like I need to shuffle this maybe 2 more times. Okay. Oh wow. Okay, I'll take them. I'll take them. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, I counted. Oh, again, another one. 1 and 2. Okay, cool. All right, let's keep it at that. So I don't know. So clearly we got something. Ace of Discs as our first one. Okay, these also, these are the next. Okay, we're going 3, I bet. Okay, so we've got Virtue and we've got Debauch. Okay, so looks like we've got our first 3 cards already over here. So that is on our foundation. What do we have on the root? Okay, let's like pull my arms up for this. We're getting to work, man. Getting to work over here. At the back of the deck, what do we have? Abundance. Wow, this is the 3 of Cups. Whoa, that's dope. That's actually dope. That's really, really cool. We've got 3 of Cups. We've actually got 2 3s that I'm seeing right now. We've got Virtue, which is the 3 of Wands, and we've also got the 7 of Cups. Interestingly, I was saying that there was like a water energy, and here we're seeing that there's 2 cups with water, and then of course we've got the fire with the wands, and we've got the earth with the Ace of Discs. So it's interesting, like how I was saying that, or seeing and saying actually, about how we could be longing for home, just like it's saying over here, that recognition that we're not from this place. But then at the foundation, and this being like the Ace of Pentacles, it's like we came here to do something new. We came here to establish a new foundation, to learn, to to ultimately create something different than what we have created before. So it's like, what is it that we can do to use our energy in a different way, to express in a different way? I'm even getting this the following cards, which would be now the 3 of Wands. It's like, of course, like going into our higher selves. But I'm getting something about a new foundation ultimately, especially with this card being our first one by the roots there. It's like we established new roots. We took this new opportunity because we knew that there was something that we were going to gain from this. New experiences, new adventures, new ventures, just everything new. It's like, you take the opportunity to go on a journey, And here on the Root Holistic, we're going on the journey within. So I think, as a spirit, we know that, there are certain lessons that we can learn, and those lessons will ultimately elevate us and help us become closer to God or learn about the God within. So it's like Earth became the new home, the new world to come to, to gravitate towards. Even in the middle there, I'm getting that sacred geometry symbol, which kind of looks like the Star of David or a pentagram. And then there we were talking about like looking at the stars. So it's like the star came into this new world with these wings, and it's like you came here to, spread light, to spread love. I'm looking at all this green here. Looks like, you're very much led by your heart, and there's something very emotional about what's happening right now. I think there's a greater reason to why you came to establish yourself on this world, but you're remembering that you came here to spread your light. You're the original light worker ultimately, but let's see. I think there's a lot more to this message. We'll get more as we go deeper into it. Second one here on the sacral, it's, wow, how cool is that? Like the colors are matching up with like the orange, and the orange in here as well. Very much aligned, I think, with what it is that you came here to do, which is to, experience your higher self. You came here to learn more. You came to put your passion into action. It's like you are not only just aware of what it is that you came to do, but you now came to act on that, to practice that. So it's like, imagine having been in another school, in another timeline, in another dimension or period of existence, and then you realize like, oh flip, I actually need to come to Earth because there's this great impact that I can make over there, and then you decide to do that. I think what I'm also getting from these wands is like having been like a warrior of some kind as well. So I think in a previous lifetime, if that's something that you believe in, it's just coming through that. Even if it's not in a previous lifetime, maybe in your past, you've faced a lot of battles. You were kind of the person who was like, a general in the army, used to fight a lot, used to I'm just getting something about war, strife, battle, but like now you're in a place where you are, you're using your shield. You might have, I'm thinking like with Zulu King Shaga times, how like those usually have an X on the shield there. But yeah, I'm just getting something about how, you are moving into this era, like you're moving militant, you know what I mean? It's like there's just a bunch of order, there's a bunch of structure, and there's strength to this movement going forward. And as you go forward and you're leaving your mark, there's something about how, again, you living by your truth. You are guided by truth. It's like truth is your spear, truth is your weapon. You came here to spread the truth. It's like this Ace of Discs is almost like a seed. You came here to plant the seed of truth and even defend truth, protect the truth, live by the truth. And the truth is ultimately what brings about this great change. It's because it's something that you live by. It's something that your higher self has always remembered. It's interesting how I was getting a message about like how, when we come to Earth, sometimes we forget, but the truth is always the truth. And, it like reigns true over time. I'm even thinking about how the rain and the true come together, because rain is speaking to leadership, rulership. So I definitely get something about how you are a person who people look up to as well. And that's why you are the light worker. I mean, just look at all this fire here. It's like there's a fire within. It's like it's coming from the background right into the foreground. So it's like there's this passion, there's this drive to continue living virtuously. I'm even thinking of my friend. He calls himself Virtue and Vice. So it's like, there might even, for me to even think about him right now, I think there's also recognition of what is untrue. If you have your virtues, then you have your vices as well. But then those things have been crossed out or X'd out or acknowledged such that you can continue to live true. I think this is very powerful. And I mean, with it coming in the sacral energy as well, I mean, that's about your sensuality, your expression. So it's like, again, it's something that you live by. It's, you've established your basis or your root, and then like you build upon that by truth. So wherever you plant your seed, it's like, imagine watering a seed with truth. You could water it with like water and things like that. Actually, let's stay hydrated one time. Yo, hydrate there. Isn't it crazy? I was talking about like some green waters and I have a green beverage. And now look at this cup over here with the bark, 7 of Cups, and all this water is green and yellow. And yo, it's interesting like how the messages all come together. I'm wearing a green hoodie today. I was about to say I'm westing. Okay, but I mean to say wearing. Okay, but I always like try to like pause a little bit to like pay attention. Like, what did I just say? Was that a download or something? But with the 7 of Cups, and this is by where we at now? We by the solar plexus. Wow. It's coming through like, of course, 7 of Cups is speaking to all these different options, these possibilities, these pathways. And now I'm even remembering what came through at the beginning about like, coming to Earth and then remembering that you are actually on a mission. But then, there are things that are of this world that are not of us. We get presented with so many options, with so many pathways, things that would ultimately either enhance our light or dim our light. Because if we came here to work, we would want to balance things. Like I was speaking to like virtue and vice here in this previous one. We want to, let's say, balance work and play. But like on the other side of it, it's like, not only are you met with things that enhance your light, you're also met with things that would dim your light. And with me even looking at how these cups are like spilling over, it's a matter of saying like there might have been instances where you were shown where not to overindulge. And it's like, yes, you have so many options. These are so many things that could be presented to you. But then it's like, can you, oh, whoa, yo, there's a lot coming through right now. Can you actually like find what it is that's going to fill your cup firstly, but then look at how this big cup is filled over here and it makes this whole puddle, right? But then there are other things that are set up. Like I'm looking at how they have like this structure to them and they have like these flowers pointed down. So it's like they appear as honey, but confirmation, but they appear as honey, but as you start to explore them, you start to realize that like, sometimes if it gets too sweet, it might, like cause a cavity type of a thing. So I'm also, with me focusing on the mouth, there's something about speech. There's something about, knowing your limits, not going overboard or like, keeping things within moderation. And it's like, things can be set up or structured in such a way that you forget about your foundation, the cup that you came to fill, the mission that you came to fulfill. And with me even seeing that there's 1 cup at the bottom and 6 cups over here at the top, it looks like these are like 2 faces as well here. So it's like things are set up in such a way that you're going to maybe face like 2 different people, 2 different periods, or 2 different eras in your life. It's almost like, like a primary school, then like a high school, but like 2 phases or periods of your life are actually going to be set up in such a way for you to be faced with these like habits, addictions, temptations, but then they will only add to your story. They will only add to what it is that you came to do, because you see that now they are all over filling and like dripping into this greater sea, this greater expanse. And then, whoa, were we not just saying earlier on about like how, even as you're like a person of a water element, or you might even have like some water, water symbols, water elements in your chart, right? Doesn't necessarily mean that you are also Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, but it's like, I mentioned how there might have been like turbulence in the waters, and I look at this, how these drops in the water are creating like ripples, and then the main ripple that you came to make, this is your impact, this is your effect on the world. But it's like all these other things were impacting the reach or the expansion that you were making, not only for yourself, which is like your grounding and like understanding who you are, but it's like you were presented with these pathways to learn. I'm even getting an image in my mind's eye about how, the 7 of Cups looks in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot deck, and it's somebody who's like in the darkness, like facing towards all these different options and the lights. It's like, you coming out of this water or stabilizing this water is, it's you realizing that your wave, your frequency, right, is higher, it's stronger, because your cup is bigger than all of these things that will actually set up to like distract you or deter you from your mission. So, with the solar plexus, I'm thinking about the sun as well. So it's like, how do you continue shining your light? And because your light is so bright, I mean, you came here with your higher self, you came here to protect your mission. No wonder that they came through in such a way to even, come and affect your abundance. I mean, look at this, Three of Cups. And it's like, you came here to celebrate ultimately. You came here to live your best life. You came here to reap the fruits of your labor. And again, connect with like-minded people, create your company, create your empire, create your vision of what you saw this era or this time period could be. Because, I'm seeing the Three of Cups and the Three of Wands. It's like already those came together. The boys stay on threes. That's my favorite number there. And wow, interesting how I mentioned, like, we planted a seed of light, and at the back of the, the oracle deck, it says here, seeding the light, laying foundations, divine plan. I'm just noticing that right now. It's like, it's aligning with everything that we've just said here for the lower chakras. So it's like, before we get to the heart and everything above that, it's like, the foundation that we set was planting the seed, and this light is the truth. And granted, you came here to experience, you came here to learn, but you also came here to spread light and also be aware of anything that is affecting you or going to perhaps like attack or even try to dim your light. I'm getting symbols over here. What is this? Is this the male symbol or female symbol? But I think this is coming through as like, okay, switch the roles as necessary. Of course, this is a collective reading, but I think, it's like relationships or people of the opposite sex could be like two of them actually, with me looking at this card and that symbol over there. It's like two particular people or two particular relationships could have been the ones that like maybe even triggered certain like awakenings within you, revelations within you. And I think those were like the two bonds that you grew within the most. But yeah, that's just coming through over here with this one. Something told me to look back at that again. Over here, we're getting the Aries. You might also have Aries in your chart. I'm also seeing Sagittarius over here. You might have that in your birth chart. Yo, if you want, you should check out the pattern, gang. The pattern is really cool. Of course, it doesn't give you like everything in your birth chart, but I think it's a good starting place. Just check out that app. It's really dope. But yeah, Spirit, thank you so much. Let's proceed. Shuffle again? No. Okay, we will. Okay. Interesting. What, there's something else? Oh, the numbers. Of course, okay, 1, that's the beginning. 3, that's, collaboration. 7 over here, which was the options again. But, I look at this as, being within a phase or a season or a cycle, looking through that as a transition, with 7, 3, and 1, that puts us at 11, and then 11 coming together, that's 2, so that's the balance. So wow, interestingly how like there's 2 cups, there's like two cups, but there's a set of 3, and it all comes back down to 1. So, and then I was actually saying how it looks like 2 faces over here as well. Yeah, but there's something about like, I think balancing your lower chakras, no matter what, no man or no woman, again, this opposite sex or gender, or there was an agenda, of course, to kind of deter you from your mission, something of that sort. But then it's like you need to, with the home and the foundation. Okay, here we go. With the home and the foundation, it's a matter of saying, okay, Spirit's saying, okay, we should actually take this one right here. With the home and the foundation, it's like, how do you, kind of root yourself in such a way that you don't forget your mission? How do you stay true to what it is that you want to do? And then here we are, with our next card, Spirit's like, okay, we got it already. Okay, we're getting Aries energy again here with the Emperor. When I look at the Emperor, I'm thinking of like all the kings in the suits. So it's like, yo, man, how crazy is this? And you've got the Emperor on the heart. So it's like on the heart chakra, I'm getting all these shivers right now. It's like I'm just seeing like this ram Capricorn energy as well. Because you know what? You the goat, my G. You're the goat. And it's like it's because your love is so strong. I'm actually getting an energy of like, why we were being led to saying this, the balance. It's like we needed to usher this new energy in of this balance. It's because with me saying now at the beginning that I think of all the kings, I think of, the King of Wands, the King of Cups, the King of Swords, the King of Pentacles. It's like if you, again, like I was saying about, you came here to establish your empire, your kingdom. You are going to get this from living from your heart. And that is ultimately what is like being the being that's pushing the truth forward, the truth and being from your heart. And because like what's true is like from the heart, you know what I mean? It's like your passion, and it's like you've ultimately let that lead you. And with me seeing how, this emperor is looking to the left, it actually kind of looks like the image that you'd see on like a set of cards. So I think it was like kind of like a game, and then it looks like here in his hand, he's got, wait, is that like, I almost thought it was like a bomb. I don't know, but it like, kind of looked like it was a bomb that's about to like, turn on, but it also looks like a helmet. At the same time, it kind of looks like there's a world. It's like, with like a candle on top of it as well. Whoa, this is crazy. The visuals on these cards are like hella dope. I like that. Very interesting. This is the Thoth deck, by the way. I don't have the cover over here, do I? Nah, I don't. Okay. But anyways, it's like, this for me comes to as like the full embodiment of all the kings. So because you are like the last person in the suit, you're the emperor, you are now being given so much to steward, to look after, to reign ultimately. And we were speaking about rain. Wait, there's no rain over here. Oh, sorry. There we go. I'm seeing the rain. Of course, these drops over here. So it's like, even when you're the king, or like, in wrestling, when you've got the belt, when you've got the crown, you are going to be tested. You will get some challenges. But it's like because you looked to the left, you saw these things for what they were, that, they were trying to shake your foundation, trying to shake up your kingdom, your home, that you're not going to now deter from the mission or get distracted from what it is that you actually need to do, because you need to steward, you need to pass out some orders, you need to embody the greatest, most abundant version of you that can rule this empire. And as the emperor, you've got responsibility. What's that saying from Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. And it's like you're actually gonna sit on your throne, comfy, cozy. With me even getting this sense about like how this kind of looked like a bomb. It's like you are handling threats. It's like it's nothing. You can even look away. You can even look to the side, and you're good because you have that comfort. You have that certainty that everything is handled. I'm even getting with the ram there, with the goats. It's like you're masculine, you're feminine. I mean, that goat, it looks dark, that goat looks light. And it's like this balanced version of you came from living from your heart, and then knowing when to, detonate stuff, and then knowing when to direct stuff. It's like knowing when to build, knowing when to destroy, coming through very much as a balance of that. Even with the feet, 1 foot up, 1 foot down, as above, so below. Ooh, confirmation, verb. I'm also getting, the 2 pentacles, or the 2 suns on the left and the right. Yeah, there's just something about like generational wealth, legacy. I mean, for me to even say 2 sons, it's like as the emperor, they give to their son, or like, they continue the lineage in a sense. And then here there's 2 goats, because, you're the greatest of all time. I think it's because of like who you were in that other realm, that you came here to, almost like bring in a new era, or a new experience, if I can call it that, a new timeline, a new threshold, a new, like, yeah, it's coming through as an experience, it's just something to be experienced, a new paradigm type of a thing. It's like a new regime. Yes. Oh, spirit come through. Thank you, man. It's like a new regime came through over here. And the old goats are teaching the young goats. So from 2 to 3, we're in a 2-3 zone over here. We're about to score. And look at that. The Phoenix rises again. And was I not getting something about a shield earlier on? And now look at that. You came to rise, you came to ascend, you came to protect what is important to you, but then also, being able to sit on your throne, embody this energy, and like look over everything from above. But I love the fact that, it's sitting here on the heart, which I feel is very grounding because it's right in the middle of everything. So it's like this is what's being highlighted, I would say, for it to be in the middle. It's like, oh, Spirit saying, okay, let's keep going from the top. Oh, another ace. Goodness gracious. Wow, that's power. It's like, with the Emperor being in the middle, it's like, because of your heart, we're going to give you this opportunity to steward, to direct, this new timeline, or usher in this new age. It's like, how we're in the age of Aquarius right now. So, yeah, let's see where we're at with that. Wow. What we were speaking to earlier, it's being confirmed over here. Here by the throat chakra, we have the Ace of Swords. It's like you've been given, like, what's that game, South Park, like the stick of truth. Of course, they like talking about a whole bunch of crap. But again, there's also truth in comedy, right? It's satire. It's a play on our human experience. So because you have so much experience, you are now able to speak truth. And, when I think about the throat chakra and how it speaks to, what we're speaking, what we're listening, it's like if anything is not of truth, if anything is not of logic, of discernment, of like wisdom, it's ultimately going to stray away from you. I'm also getting something about how, you are always pursuing, oh, flip. Hey, sometimes the knowledge is heavy, bro. Sometimes the knowledge is heavy. Maybe there's with me dropping the card, there's maybe a sign to say there are times when, the truth weighs on you, or you might be somebody who overthinks as well from time to time. But it's definitely coming through that, like, the truth is ultimately what is going to keep you in your crown. Because there we were talking about, the light, living from the heart, remembering your mission, knowing that you came here to embody, to plant a seed of light, right? That's the foundation that we came to set right now. And there was a plan, and here you are, 3 of Wands, following through with that plan, avoiding the distractions. So here we are. It's like, remember I was even saying how I was getting this image of like the 7 of Cups in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, and there's like clouds behind all of those cups. In this one here, it looks like, they're dropping because of the excess, like living in over moderation. Like it's an abundance, of course, but then this abundance came through as like a distraction, or to affect your impact, affect how much of your energy radiates, your fulfillment, what it is that was gonna help you stay on your mission. But then you living the truth is like clearing the clouds, and you see it's keeping you true to your mission, to your kingdom, to your task, to being the best emperor that you can be. As I'm also looking at this and how it like looks like it's a crown pointing up to the sky. It's like the truth is what's also keeping you connected to the essence of who you truly are. I'm getting something about how whenever you do live by your truth, you like get these divine downloads. And look how the colors are set up. It's like there's green and there's yellow, and there's green and there's yellow. So it's like the truth is being moved by the heart. So I think that there's that combination or collaboration between those two aspects, like love and truth are like working together to bring you these divine downloads, these guidance, like wisdom, knowledge type of a thing going through here. But I'm also seeing like how you've been given the voice of truth, or the voice of love. So when you speak, you ignite certain things in people. You bring the light, you clear the clouds, and that's very powerful. So no wonder you've been given this ability. I'm getting something about like throat chakra being activated, throat chakra also being attacked, but then also being the very same thing that frees you or clears you from the darkness. It's like, it's also coming through as like a light, if this is not a crown, because like just look at how dark it is there at the top. And with it being a number 1, it's like if you came to earth and you actually forgot what you needed to do, the more that you spoke, you were going to find yourself in places, spaces, and situations that were revealing to you that the truth is what was ultimately setting you free. And with me even looking at the sword and how it's structured, I'm seeing like these three dots or the three circles with the collaboration, and then also you with these half moons. It's like going through different phases, seasons, cycles, just like the moon does, but then trying to balance these things and knowing that like there's a way to express while not being so overbearing. It's like the emperor has discernment, that the emperor knows exactly, like I was saying, when to dictate and also when to destruct, to construct and when to destruct. So it's like, having power and also being able to use it wisely. Yo, that's powerful right there. That's power. Right, what we got on the third eye? Ooh, 8 of Wands, swiftness. Ooh, look at that, so interesting. What's this? I think is it Pluto? Yeah, yo, if I'm wrong, yo, forgive me, gang. Was it Mercury? One of the two. But yo, that's crazy. Again, I'm getting a lot of birth chart energy right now, so please definitely do check out your birth chart. I think there's something about the sun. Is it the Pluto? No. Actually, Pluto has a peace sign. I think this is Mercury. Ooh, okay, but it's fine. Maybe there's something to that. You need to check out both. But yeah, with this being the 8 of Wands, it's like you definitely, especially with it coming through on the third eye, it's like, you getting intuitive hits like hella quick. You are somebody, I think, who is very like, in tune, tapped in. I mean, I was even getting this with the Ace of Swords, like how, the more you lived life, the more the crown was like elevated, the more truth, the more wisdom, the more knowledge comes through. And it looks like it's because this third eye has been activated. And oh wow, we've got a little bug that came here to visit us. I'm guessing it's all these lights. It came to where the light is. Even the bugs come where the light is. Oh, come on, brother, get away. Oh, sister. Ooh. Oh my goodness. Oh, flip. It just wanted to be part of the reading. It came through also with the swiftness, right? And it's interesting how like I'm thinking about how bugs are like these small resilient creatures, and with me thinking about this, being on the third eye and looking at this diamond, diamonds are put under pressure, so it's like building your resilience, and all of those intuitive hits that you get while you're under pressure, while you're still taking shape and form and stuff, are ultimately leading to your you're happily ever after. We were talking about the reign, the reign of like the empire, the actual reign in this case being like, the distractions. But over here, it's like all those things now, 7 to 8, of course, there's a progression as well. But it's like all those things that were, hey, my guy, where you at, bruh? Like, can we read in peace? Can we channel in peace? Okay, I don't see it anymore. 38 on the timer. But anyway, I'm just getting how, there's a lot of signs, messages, synchronicities coming in heavy, coming in strong. So, third eye activation, epiphanies, dreams, revelations. I'm even getting deja vu, might have been one of the things that you experienced a lot as well. But it's like all of those were just guidance, you tapping in and you tuning in. And it's interesting how like this comes after the Ace of Swords, where it's like, even where these messages are like, crown, you're still connected to, your homeland where you come from. It's like now those same directions or like threads could now come out of your third eye so that you could also like tap into these energies. I'm also getting something about like how, these kind of look like thunderbolts as well, going in different directions. So your third eye might have also, resulted in like tower moments, which is what I'm getting, with like the tower having like a thunderbolt on it there. But it's like a lot of divine intervention, a lot of situations that you've made it through purely from your insight, purely from your intuitive downloads coming through. And it's like, I guess part of your mission was being able to trust that what insight you were getting was true, even as quickly as it came. Because if you constantly under pressure, if you constantly in a position where you have to change shape and form, I'm even getting like a chameleon type of an energy where you need to change your colors, you are adapting so quickly, you're gonna get insights just as quickly, because you need to ground this energy and ultimately like process it so quickly that you can perform and still be the one who lives from love, lives from truth. Yo, this is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's interesting how I'm getting like how we were saying that this is the Mercury, and then pointing at that arrow going out. It's like you are able to, come on, man, get away, bud. You're able to like receive information and then let that information out. It's like you could receive something negative and transmute it into positive really quickly. So it's also coming through as like you are someone who's adept at like shadow work and just alchemy ultimately. Yeah. Okay, from the top again. All right. We got another eight of swords this time. Interference, and that is on the crown. Ooh wee, ooh wee. And of course, right? Of course, because you're getting all these downloads with the quickness, because your third eye is so strong, and because your crown is what is connecting you to truth, keeping you with the divine, there would be interference. There would be people trying to get in the way or trap you. But I was also getting something earlier about like overthinking. I just saw 41 and 5, and I know 5 is about change. But also if I'm thinking about the light code of number 5, last I remember it was about like once you embody a certain state, you can become it as well. I'll try to add it into in fact, not try, I will add it into the description. Just check the angel number for that. But it's like once you embodied who you are, it's like once you remembered who you are, all the energies would try to interfere with you, because there's that saying about how the most powerful person is the person who knows who they are, what their abilities are, what their capabilities are. And here you are, of course, making an impact, because we're in the impact season. And why would they not want to interfere with you? Why would they not want to get in the way of you using your different abilities? I mean, look at these different weapons. And if you are, like again, led by truth, you have the sword of truth, you bring truth, you bring new ideas, you illuminate, places, spaces, and situations, and in different ways too, because of all the different things that you've experienced. Interestingly, how it's coming together is like, there's these 7 cups, there's these 1 swords, and that's 8. So it's like even the bad experiences turned into swords, and now look at this. Here they are over here, where now you getting an opportunity to balance this thing, but also be aware of it and then free yourself from it. Because with the image of the 8 of swords, in my mind's eye, in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, you're seeing somebody blindfolded and stuff. So it's like you might have even received attacks to your crown, people trying to dim your light, which is what we were speaking to somewhere here earlier in the root. And it's like your recognition of that, you grounding that energy, is ultimately what's going to allow the energy to rise, because you have all these things that you planted. It's like now your seeds rise up to a point where they even want to, mess with your manifestation. That's why we have the number 8, and we have 8 over here. So it's like double manifestation, double connection, double, I don't know, I think there might even be synchronicities, things coming in 2 by 2 for you right now. I mean, look, we've even got these 2 swords, looking down, and I'm looking at this as like a channel, it's like things are, coming in, things are being downloaded, dropping in very nicely, very cool. Again, after the third eye, I'm seeing all the purples and the reds here. So it's like you grounded the intuitive insights and the hints that you were getting, and now you were able to connect with higher realms, source, divine energies, ascended masters, angels, guardians, whoever you connect with, to best deliver these messages. And there's an integration actually happening here, where with even different walks of life, different spiritual paths or religions, if you want to look at it that way, at their core, they living for truth. They living for that pursuit of oneness. So it's like you found like the common thread between these different experiences, the different walks of life, and that's why you came in here to bring it in. So on one side of it, it's like the interference of those who can see your power and what it is that you came to do, but then also you are the interference. It's like a frequency, you came to like, like what did Uber do? Or what's that thing? A disruption type of a thing. But I look at it as like you're like the positive disruption, and you needed to avoid the negative disruption. And that's why there's like positive, negative, above, below. There's a bunch of alchemy happening here where you are aware of the darkness, but then you are able to work with this darkness, integrate this darkness, and ultimately have it work in your favor. That's power. That's power right there. Anyways, okay, let's get some advice, yo. So what we got for the collective? What can we tell them that's gonna, just round out this reading? What advice can we give to the collective over here? Okay, no, didn't. We're gonna wait. I think there's a card that's gonna pop out, because we're not only showing up, we're showing out as well. Okay, this one. Okay, nah. Okay, no. Cards are eager, but I think there's one that's gonna. Oh wow! Look at that, man holding a coin. All right, I'm gonna take that as the advice. Okay, let's see. One more right at the top, and then okay, one more. So we're gonna shuffle again. Let's get one more for the advice for the. Oh wow! Look at that! It's already flipped over. And it's the sun. Interesting. Okay. So, oh wow, yo, this deck is huge. Wow, interesting. You gotta try some new things. This is the alchemy. I mixed two decks together as well over here. And here we are at the back of this. We have the friendliness. You know what? The number 2 has been coming through. Like, yo, what's going on? But anyway, just for advice to close out the reading, yeah. Man holding a coin. Wow, don't forget your mission, bruh. Like, here we are, the Ace of Discs. And, I think flip this around as necessary. But, like, first thing, it's like, don't forget the seed. Don't forget what you came here to plant, what you came here to do. 43, I'm definitely going to list that as an angel number as well for us to take into consideration. But I'm also getting something about like not worrying about your finances, not worrying about like how your needs are going to be met. It's like for as long as you focus on the seed, as long as you focus on being the light, then you will like be fulfilled in a sense, A reminder again, which is also coming through in the middle, which is like a bit of a challenge as well. It's like, can you stay on this journey? Continue, walking this new path. Remember that you came here to do a new thing. Oh, confirmation verb. What's that verse in the Bible? Like God is doing a new thing. So it's like you came here to this earth. Oh, was I not speaking about a mountain and being on a mountain when I spoke to this card earlier, or on a hill and a waterfall? And I mean, just look at this. This is on that hill. And it's like, you taking that leap of faith. You came here to experience something different, something new. And there we've got like that stream, going between the mountains. So it's like your stream, your abundance, what you came to learn and also bring into existence is from you taking chances. And there we go with the stars and the lights all over again. I'm very much seeing a strong connection between the Fool and this Mentaken card, because I mean there's the moon, there's like the hill, somebody on top of a hill looking away. But yeah, I think this is just being open, having an open heart, going on these adventures, going on this exploration. I mean, in the tarot, it's like the Fool's journey, right? So it's every part of the journey. It didn't just stop here. It didn't just end somewhere else. 48, 38 as well. There's just something about like being open and willing to continue shining, to continue moving ahead. And even though, you might be longing for home, you might be stargazing, in the mountains with your trials and tribulations, the peaks and the trough, the up, the below, all polarities, all dichotomies are acknowledged here. You just focus on being the one, the sun shining bright. And there we were, speaking to the cups, and you look at that. I'm actually taking this as like the Ace of Cups now, because we had the Ace of Discs, we have the Ace of Swords, and look at this. In this one cup, there's the light, there's the shine, and this is like the happiest card in the deck. This is like the most abundant card in the deck. But it's like you being your best self, you remembering that you're here on a mission, remembering that you're on a journey as well, is actually what's going to allow you to drop this light, seed this light in multiple places and spaces. I'm also getting something about like grid working and going to different places to spread light, and I think that's how you expand this mission, how you extend this empire and let it spread across just one cup and into many other cups. And yeah, last message here at the back of the deck, which would be the Two of Cups, friendliness. It's a recognition of any place, space, or engagement which is not reciprocal, where you're not able to have like even exchange. I think, you are definitely quite intuitive, and anything that doesn't align with you will reveal itself in an emotional sense. If it doesn't fulfill you, if it doesn't make you feel like you are being the best you, then definitely, you got to get away from that. And I mean, just with the next two cards, intensity and silence. Ooh, this is giving Page of Wands, and then with the silence. Ooh, they would go with the moon again. It's like, don't avoid the silence, and then also don't avoid these intensities. I think, this experience on this earthly plane has had its challenges where, you're trying to like ground this energy. I mean, just look at what's happening here, remembering who you are. But I'm remembering this lyric from Russ right now. It's like, when you connect to silence, you're able to hear the guidance. So don't fear even being bored, because, like in the older civilizations, those people got bored and they didn't have as much things as we have now, with all this technology and all these energies and distractions and all of these things coming at us like left, right, and center. But when you tap into the silence, you're able to hear yourself. You're able to hear, these intuitive hits that are ultimately coming through the crown, right? So I'm just getting something about not avoiding, tapping in, tuning in, meditation, stillness as well. And, just finding better ways to ground this energy, because it's intense. It's intense. But, looking at how this arrow is like pointing towards the silence, it's like they will ultimately pointing you to go within yourself. And, a lot of spiritual teachings will tell you that we have the answers. Everything that we need is within us, because, you're tapping into the God within. So yeah, man, do enjoy. I hope this reading was swell. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it was really cool. Of course, we're in our impact season. We're doing the absolute most from coast to coast. And yeah, man, whatever's needing to be burnt, let's make sure it roasts. You know what I mean? Let's make sure it roasts. What do we have at the back of this? Oh, the abundance. Okay, the Three of Cups. But yeah, this is a beautiful message. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Peace, love, light, oneness. Yay, yay. Yeah, peace, gang.